Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday morning. Ugh, something is wrong with my wiring here. So, all right. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me make sure all my equipment is running. I got my cat ears on because I couldn't get my sound to work. So, I've grown to enjoy these things. And even if they look ridiculous, okay, cool. Testing. Yeah, the mic is up. All right, cool. And we'll go into the comments if anybody's there. Just a quick show tonight. Like I said, I have to get myself under control when I say it's going to be an hour long. That's what it's got to be, simple because of the these last couple of weekends. I mean, I streamed a lot last week, and for me, with another job in the business, it was tough. I didn't do our Friday night show because I was on with Enosh for 5 hours. I cannot believe I was on Enosh's show for 5 hours, and that took up the spot where I was going to be. And then we did do the overnight show because I just wasn't feeling well, and I didn't have a lot to talk about. I don't even have to have this on because I'm not bringing any guests. So yeah, it was kind of wild. Like I said, most of the stuff that's been going on has been the same stuff we've been trading over the last couple of days. There's really been no new news. Obviously, we had the Ray Fisher's tweet situation. That's what most of my compatriots have been talking about all day. I'm not going to go too far into it here, simply because it has no entertainment value whatsoever. It has no topical value whatsoever. It is a civil litigation issue at this point. Knowing, obviously, we know what kind of management was running Warner Brothers during the time that Ray Fisher was there, and I have no doubt that he went through something. But at this point, it's time to grab a lawyer and file a lawsuit or stop. At this point, there's really nothing more to do. Bringing it up in the public domain, it is not something that belongs in the public domain, in my opinion. It is an issue between him and the people who have wronged him. And unless you're going to actually move forward with a lawsuit or some type of civil litigation, I just don't see where constantly bringing it up is going to do anything. All the people who were involved are gone from Warner Brothers, thank goodness. So, all right, so that, like I said, this is probably going to be one of these shortest streams ever. I just wanted to jump on because we haven't been on. I personally haven't been on since before Thursday, and the time I was on, it was on with Enosh, and I was basically riding shotgun with him. And like I said, we went a good 5 hours. I mean, I left that show, drove home, and got back on to finish the show off for another 2 or 3 hours. And at that point, I have been fighting allergies and just exhaustion because it is Christmas time, and I am a small business retailer. So between shipping stuff and getting stuff done, it's just like, and then Christmas is on a weekend, so it's all kinds of chaos. How you doing, Fourth 1000? Alastair 6531, how you doing? Yes, you were first, Yvonne. Yeah, I only sent out the little indicator thing on 2 different platforms, the YouTube platform and Enosh's Poindexter one. So let me see. Hunter Iggy, what are your thoughts on people going to YouTube live stream to talk about James Gunn tweets today and bashing him? I didn't get involved. I mean, I had some interaction with some of the people that are on, that I have private chats with, and we all have common friends and common stories. I thought it was a good tweet for him to make. I agree with his tweet, and I'm glad that he knows that this is the minority of us, and it's not all of us. But once again, him tweeting didn't help the situation as far as what people's perception is of anybody who likes Snyder's films. The majority of us just went to go see the films, and that's it. We did support the hashtags. I supported AFSP. I supported all that stuff, and I supported my fellow people that did that. But as far as the threats, the name calling, bringing up his wife, the pedo jokes, I think that's unprofessional. I think that is stoogery. You are accomplishing nothing with those things. Listen, I will be the first to tell you that I do not agree how this is being handled. I understand what needs to be done. I understand what he needs to do, and I understand why he's doing it. I don't think that Warner Brothers Discovery as a whole has handled this very well as far as the rollout goes. But that could change. The one undeniable fact is we don't know everything. We know very little. We know some of the bad parts about what we think is going on as far as like not having Cavill or some of these other things and the rumors of hard reboots. But the vast majority of stuff we have has come from other YouTubers and trades. Very little has come from the source. So I think we need to dial back and not necessarily respond to him with the flamethrower until we have something. I will stick by why I think reboots are stupid and why I think, given the fragility of where Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Films and DC Studios is right now, it is like tap dancing with a bowling ball on thin ice that you can see through. I mean, I agree with getting to a new beginning, but what I disagree is what may get us there. The path to this good thing could be laced with a bunch of just mediocrity and bad things. And a lot of presentation is the delivery. How are you getting us to this point? And a lot of people have a lot of legitimate questions. Not everybody that's brought up a question in regards to what Gunn and Safran are doing is an asshole. All right. Not everybody that is upset with what Gunn and Safran may be doing is an asshole. If you've been along this ride since 2013, you have every right to be confused and every right to be angry. And everybody telling you to cope and that you should just go along for another ride. Well, you went along with a 9-year ride and got you pretty much nowhere. So you are justified in your, not anxiety. I wouldn't take it that far, but you are justified in your apprehension. And like I said a couple of nights ago, as of now, I can't make a good case for you to go see any of the 4 movies that are coming out, or even a stronger case to jump on board. What are you doing? First of all, I don't know. And B, these next 4 movies, I might not even go and see. I put my money down. I pay for a continued universe. I pay to see comic book stories, told in the comic book way. And we didn't always have that when I was a kid. We had a Superman here and a Batman here, and that's fine. But the goal, no matter who did it first for the last 20, 30 years, was to get all of them on the screen. And that's what I want. I'll go see a standalone, but I don't want that as a substitute for my shared universe. So now you're telling me these next 4 movies that all take place in that shared universe are going to be going to nowhere. And be honest with you, I don't know if I want to plop down that kind of cash. Now granted, we may be promoting some of these movies and but like I said, now it's not just a money thing, it's an enthusiasm thing. Where am I going? It's now, once again, this could change. They could come out and say, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to give what you've seen a logical, respectable ending so that you have closure on your way to this new thing. And then, you know what, I'll change my mind. But right now, we just don't know. And everything we're getting are leaks and rumors. And every time I see something start a tweet or somebody sharing some information and the word rumor leads, I click off of it. Right? When I hear insiders say, I click off of it. The only insider I want to hear from right now is James Gunn, and then I'll make my decision based on that. But no, I think that I don't think James Gunn, I don't think the fans, to be honest with you, are being fair to James Gunn. Could WBD and co do better in their rollout? Yeah. But talking about his wife, making pedo jokes, calling for his termination when he hasn't really done anything yet, want to be terminated for, that's a little bit overboard. And listen, it costs you $0.0 and 0.0 cents to sit back and wait to see how this happens. If we start seeing things, we start getting plots, we start getting scripts, we start getting trailers, and you don't like it, then you know what? Just don't go. I'd hate to not have, to tell somebody to not go see superhero movies, but if I will understand if you see what's unrolling and you don't want to be involved in it. I can completely understand. I would hope you gave it a chance, but you know what? You gave all this a chance for 9 years, and I can't really expect you to give any more if you don't want to. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. It's playing with fire, and those who don't like you will see it as obsessive behavior, as if there's something concerning relationship here. You don't want that humor to Gunn's extent. Okay. Let me see what I missed up here. All right. Let me get these in order so that I don't start reading it out. It was weird. It was everything I expected from him. I mean, it's just weird watching a Del Toro Pinocchio movie. I can't even believe I was doing it, but it was weird. And it's, I mean, a wooden boy that turns into a human boy, I guess is weird enough. But yeah, you knew you were watching a Del Toro movie. I actually liked it. All right, who's Gunn? Gunn's wife is Harcourt off of Peacemaker, the blonde. That's her. She's been in other stuff too, but Amelia Harcourt, that's the girl, the blonde that plays her. Why can't I remember James Gunn's wife's name? That's kind of sad. I'm old and I'm tired, guys. Jennifer Holland. I think I may have met her years and years ago. But yeah, Jennifer Holland is his wife, and she plays Amelia Harcourt. And like I said, because a lot of people are mad saying, "Well, he's going to reboot everything but that," and even he debunked that. So they're going after her, and well, if we can't get everything else, why are we getting Peacemaker? So yeah, she's become a target today, and that's not right. All right, have you read the Forbes article? I have questions about the coming of James Gunn era DC. No, I have not. I've tried to stay away from these outlets simply because I've had a bad experience these last couple of months with people running me around in circles, and like I said, I know Forbes is respectable, but so is everybody else, and I just don't think it's good for anybody's mental health to completely run in circles based on drips and drabs. Especially when you have a guy that's out there talking. And like I said, I hope he doesn't go back and forth with every Twitter head, because I don't think that could be good, but I do agree with him doing it to an extent, because like I said, I always wanted someone to come out and say, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. Because without that, in the last 5 years, we haven't had that. And when there was gaps in information, random losers filled those gaps with their own informations and became these powerful people on these platforms, and that includes the trades. So I'm glad to have James Gunn talking. At least I may not like everything he's saying right now, but at least it's coming from him. So no, I have not read that article, but at least it sounds like this article, David, is an editorial, so I might just read it. As long as you're not trying to put out news and information in the guy, or put out an editorial in the guise of news, I'll read it. So I will check out this article, and I'll let you know probably tomorrow night what I think of it, David. Thanks for bringing it up to my attention. She an actor? Yes. Jennifer Holland is an actress. Yeah. I think I'm gonna rename this show. I think I'm gonna rename, because open mic is it's kind of generic. Everybody uses open night. I actually have a name. I'm not gonna unveil it now because somebody will steal it from me. But it's a cool ass name, and it actually has a tie to professional wrestling, which you guys know if you've watched me for any amount. I am a off the rails wrestling fanatic. I mean, I will watch all forms, anywhere, different languages. I do not care. I will watch it until my eyes pop out of my head. So I got a name that is going to actually be tied loosely to a wrestling organization. You guys probably will never know what it is, but it'll have a special place in my heart. So yeah, I'm going to be renaming that probably tomorrow. All right, doing good. Just waiting for my dad to come home. Hang Christmas tree ornaments. Okay, cool. That's late. Here are my thoughts on the whole pedo thing. It's a dirty tactic. It's wrong, but I can understand why it's happening. You don't mess with that type of humor and throw that theme parties about it. Okay, I got what you're saying now. I listen. I wasn't really. I didn't follow that situation too closely until it kept getting brought up over and over and over again. But people do and say stupid shit, and it was quite a while ago. And I know there's parties and thing, but if you have we wouldn't be bringing this up though. Here's my problem with it. If James Gunn had came out and said, you know what, we're going to wrap the Snyderverse up and put a bow on it, and then we're going to move on to these things, but we're going to give you a respectable ending, or we're going to give you, we're going to make this our Superman for the next 4 or 5 years. If he'd have said, you know, the things that we had been waiting to hear for a while, none of the pedo jokes would come up. So whether you believe that the whole pedo thing was ever real or not, or whether it was distasteful, the fact is the only reason it's being bought up now is because we have all this disruption. So, you know, why they're doing it, as I have a problem with why they're doing it, because they would not be doing it if, you know, things were different. That's my only issue with it. Fourth is, boy, you got the energy pills and the energy drink tonight, and you know, you're typing paragraphs. It's playing with fire. Now, this is the one I read out of order. It's playing with fire, and those who don't like you will see it as obsessive behavior, as if some concerning relations there, so you don't want the humor and gun. I don't think you would do it today. Listen, I know a lot of people who make stupid ass jokes that they could take back if they would. I don't judge people on 10 years ago. I judge them on today. Would he make that joke today? Would that joke be, would he, what is his frame of mind today? So it was a bad joke. I mean, like I said, if I unfriended or disassociated with everybody I know that did a bad joke or did a joke that, it was ill-timed or whatever, I wouldn't have any friends. So I understand what you're saying, Forrest, but at the same time, I got to judge James Gunn when he's doing today, and a lot of these people wouldn't be bringing that up if things were if he was giving them exactly what they wanted. Hi, Chappie. How you doing, Chappie? How you doing? Brian Master up now. How you doing, man? Alabaster. Hey, William. Not sure Ray Fritzer tried to dunk on Gunn today. Yeah, I saw that, and like I said, I expressed it at the beginning. Listen, I've been black my entire life, and so is Ray Fisher. I can't tell another black man how to respond to how he's been wrong. What I can tell you is someone who's been on both sides of lawsuits and having to sue and having to win and defend yourself. At some point, it just becomes white noise if you don't act on it. If these people have wronged you, you needed to go after them because right now you're bringing people in the public domain and who don't even know what you went through, and it's a bad look because the timing is bad. Like I said, I believe something went down there, but I think there's a time and place for everything. And to let yesterday now was not it. Like I said, I think I do believe he was wrong. Because just look who was running the show when he was there. But I also said, dude, if these things are going wrong with you, don't take legal advice from me. But if it were me, and I thought I'd been mistreated like that, I'd file a suit. And if somebody's lying, they get deposed. They're under oath. So, it's calling somebody's hand. That's what I would have done. But I wouldn't have gone on Twitter about it. I wouldn't have brought the public into it at this point. And I definitely wouldn't have done it today. And it just wasn't a good look. Well, fourth, when you have tweets like that, they never go away. It's his fault for being stupid enough to tweet them when he was in his mid-30s and 40s. Listen, dude, like I said, it's stupid humor. The jokes are dumb. They were in bad taste. But there's a lot of people you guys are going to have to not watch or turn your TV off if you want to just sit around and dig on people. And like I said, I'm not a James Gunn shill. I believe in his talent and I believe in his ability. But this goes for anybody. Anybody. I mean, especially in the world of Twitter, when you put something on the screen without context and things like that, and like theme party. I mean, listen, dude. I mean, like I said, you can start digging on just about any public figure you want to. You're gonna find something that doesn't sit well with your morals. You got to ask yourself: do you want to dig, or do you want to let those people do? And like I said, the bottom line, as far as I know, James Gunn is not a pedophile, so no joke or no theme party is going to change that. And once again, would we be talking about this if the topics that he's bringing up and the moves he was making were aligned with what we want? Would people be taking shots? I mean, and I guess that's a fair question for the people who don't like him at all, period. But I'm in 2022. Even Disney realized how dumb it was to fire him over that. So if they can realize it was a mistake to dwell on that, then I guess we can too. That's just my opinion. All right, Gunn needs to just stop. He's okay. You're down here somewhere. Conference termination is okay. It's business. We're paying customers. If your food was handled the same way WB handled his franchise, you would demand prior to be shut down. Yes, I would. And you guys know I've been screwed on burgers. I literally went on a rant with that little itty bitty peel sized burger I had that one day versus the one I should have. So yes, as the customer, calling for a termination and under circumstances is okay. Not at this point when it comes to James Gunn, because it's just, what am I, like I said, my burger was jammed up. I now have a reason to want you to be replaced. I don't have anything yet to even call for his termination. Done anything yet. I could see if he comes out once we roll out this slate and it ain't cool. But even then, if he puts out a movie and it just doesn't seem like it's going well and it just doesn't seem like it's propelling the franchise in the right direction, then I'm going to start being like, maybe this isn't the right guy. Or maybe, or not even that, or even needs more time. Even still, you'd be asking for termination of a guy who has yet to even start doing anything on the job and has yet to even have the chance to evolve on the job. I mean, we went through guys, we had 5 years of bad management, and it took us 5 years to get rid of bad management. I don't even know if he's good management yet. You guys want him gone already. I say step back from the cliff and wait. It cost us $0.0. Once again, I should have a little meme of that, to sit by and wait. Now, if you don't want to engage with the excitement that I think that these franchises need, that's on you. But like I said, fire him now. I mean, I also say we saw what should have been fireable offenses in the decision making of the last 5 years, and for the entire time, and for my case, even longer, we prayed for something better. We prayed for something different. Now that something is different is here. I need to see if it's going to be better before I decide I want anybody fired. So I think we're jumping the gun, pun intended, with the whole termination thing. Yet, let him fuck up my hamburger before I'm ready to fire him over it. Because I'll go full Karen on you if you mess with my food. I got a free burger out of that, by the way. I just don't have much faith in this issue. And that's okay. That's okay. And it's up to them to restore that faith. That is where the pressure is on James Gunn and Peter Safran and the people backing them. You have every right to be apprehensive, given what all of us have been through and given what it looks like things may go with the little crumbs we have. You have every right to be apprehensive and not engage. I cannot tell you you're wrong for that. But like I said, you are the customer. If you are the main part in this retail consumer relationship, so you have a lot of control over how all this comes out. All I say is use that consumer power instead of using the insult and the power. And none of the people in this chat room, as far as I know, aren't part of that. But what I'm seeing today is the scorched earth after scorched earth after scorched earth. Pause for right now. Let's see him roll out his ideas. Like, he's already starting to debunk some of the stuff, that's being put out by these sources. Give him a little bit more rope than a couple months. And if you don't like it, hey, don't go back. If the trailers come out, you don't like it, don't go see them. I that is your right and your job as a consumer. I can't tell you how to be a consumer. All right, Cisco, he needs to start acting professional. On the one hand, I'm worried about the constant engagement with Twitter heads, but on the other hand, there are certain instances where I'm happy he's there, because if he's not there to engage and rebuke some of this stuff, it just rolls into a big giant snowballs, and then all you have is the trades and the scoopers and the other YouTubers. They become the dominant voice in the room. He needs to be the dominant voice in that room right now. Not yet. I mean, even he's only been in office since April, and I would have liked to see him handle the whole Pam Abdi and all the DeLuca and all that stuff better, as far as how they went about getting their DC head. And once they did that, I mean, you had those guys making decisions, it sound like, And sounds like, and then, having those decisions truncated by the hiring of James Gunn. You got to do a little bit better than that, because all that did is throw out a lot of inconsistency, and it causes people to doubt you going forward. And that's what I mean. The goal, I'm on board with his goal if that is indeed what he wants to do, but the pathway there could be very damaging. Good ideas are killed every day by bad delivery. So, Hunter Iggy, William, there are rumors going around the internet that Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi may pay Henry Cavill to return to cameo on Black Adam without the contract. No, if they did, I mean, I'm not 100% sure because it's a rumor, but you can do that. You can do a pay per appearance. It's much more expensive to do it that way, but you can do that. You can pay somebody for an appearance. Jennifer Holland's her name. Yeah, that and Gunn's tweet about not caring about the backlash was kind of petty. I read that tweet, and I don't know if that's what he was saying. I think he said that a lot of the stuff that's being hurled at them, like a lot of the dirt, a lot of garbage, that's not going to change their direction. And as you know, regardless of what direction he decides to go to, like I said, ultimately I'm the consumer. I can tune out if I want to. What ended up happening back in 2015, 2016, this happened under TJ Hara and, those idiots. They did change their course because of whining, and it ended up destroying the product. So regardless to where he is currently going with this, because we don't know, you cannot run DC Studios and be a pussy. All right. You cannot run DC Studios and listen to the whiners, because that's what happened before when the whiners and the shitheads and the diaper wetters and, the punks, the Marvel marks whined in 2015, 2016 and shit on Batman versus Superman before it was even done, before it was even in the concept stage. They were shitting on that movie, waiting for it to come out to shit on that movie. And guess what? When you have the wrong people in charge, they listened to that. They reacted to that. And that's how we got to where we are at now. So if you're going to run DC films, you must first engage where it is appropriate, but you can't be a pussy and be swayed by things that, should not be a part of your project. There's a balancing act of listening to the customer and being able to discern and get from what that customer is telling you to strengthen your product. And there's no indication or no evidence that he's not doing that. And we are too early in the process to really knock the way he is doing it. So we're in a holding pattern right now, Forth. If it doesn't matter why post-telling or anger is effective, like I said, he needs to, anybody, no matter it's Gunn or Forth or you or me, if I'm running DC films, I need to lay down the law as far as I am listening to you. We are in a complicated space right now, but the unproductive whining is not going to deter us one way or another. Now, what he does need to do, in my opinion, is positively engaging with people at all. It doesn't have to be clapbacks at all times. I think he, at some point, should be saying, like, if I put out an idea and say, hey, could we do this? Or would you consider this? Or how about this? He needs to engage that way. It can't always be the defensive, pose. It has to be, a hand clenched, but also a hand out as far as like, he has to do a little bit more, and I think as time goes on, he will. They're going to have to get people to buy into what they're selling. They're going to have to engage us in that manner, and not just right now. He's got to defend a lot of territory simply because there's a lot of people out there that are not acting like human beings. All right. Some of the things I've seen said, some of the things I've seen, the memes and stuff I've seen posted on Twitter are despicable or disgusting. And be honest with you, I would have a defensive wall up against all those things right now. You must protect the perception of what you're doing. And like I said, I'm not real proud of my fellow Snyder fans right now, at least the extremists. The other ones, the moderates like myself, we're probably going to support things until there's nothing for us to support. These other guys boycotting and all that shit. What are we boycotting? You want, and I can understand you not wanting to see these next 4 movies if they are indeed a road to nowhere. But after that, you know what? But once again, that's my opinion. You're the consumer. It's your money. All right, Gunn and Safford made their beds. Now they have an uphill battle ahead. It's all right. Yeah, I did say that. I do agree with that. How they have rolled this out and how they've handled things has put them behind the 8 ball and has. This was the odds of a reboot being successful aren't good anyway, no matter what you're doing and how you're doing it. Reboots usually fail. People don't want to say that out loud, but if you look at the numbers of things, look at all some of the things you reboot. Yeah, you got some successes, but for every 3 successes, the majority of them, 7 of them, are go nowhere. And no matter what medium you're talking about. Because usually reboots are birthed from disorganization, disaster, and disparity. They're not things that you roll into with a good plan. You wouldn't be doing them if the plan was working before. So you're already pushing an uphill battle to begin with. But the way they've handled it makes that hill much steeper. Can they pull it off still? Yeah, but they've really made it hard for themselves. So I do agree with a portion of that, Cisco. All right, we're at 33 minutes. I have to get my self-control and be off here no more than an hour, guys. All right, RJ. So, dude, I thought you were on the other stream, man. I thought I was safe from you tonight. No, I'm just kidding. I find it really odd, kind of misogynistic, how people are talking about Jennifer Holland, calling her Gunn's wife, and just that pissed me off. Listen, I don't. Your issues with James Gunn are your issues with James Gunn. But to bring her into it, she has nothing to do with anything right now. She's an actress that took a job. All right. She's taken other jobs before. She's been in other movies. And I thought it was very, very, very distasteful, some of the things that I heard. And whereas I can understand the frustration and the anger, see, here's the thing. And if you guys watch me anywhere, I try to maintain some type of discipline no matter what the topic is. And I, be honest with you, I sort of expect that from other people, or I'll say something. You know what? I think there should be a uniform discipline in how you approach these things, no matter what the topic is. And what I'm seeing today, the attacks on Gunn, the attacks on his wife, that's just fucking stupid. And that's reprehensible. You should be able, no matter who, if you can't sit down and have a conversation and disagreement and move on from things, you're a fucking moron. All right. I'm sorry. And that is in real life, and that is online and in real life. If you can't sit down and talk to somebody that you disagree with and not go to DEFCON 4, you are a fucking Cro-Magnon, and you need to look at your life and get some decorum in there, because that is not cool. And your cause is dead on arrival. Whatever you're saying, if you can't handle yourself and speak with discipline and some type of respectable cadence, whatever you're saying, no one's listening. All right? When you type bullshit and threats and hashtags and other nonsense like that, even if you had a case, no one's listening. All right? No one is listening. So if you want to make a point, but do it with some respect and discipline. And what I saw today in regards to Jennifer Holland, the memes about Jennifer Holland, I thought were disgusting. So, all right, are you excited about Star Wars Skeleton Crew or Mando season 3? Star Wars Skeleton 2, not as much. I don't know a lot about it. Mando season 3, I'm over the wall, over the hills about. I love Mando. Mando. I mean. Everything about the show. The only thing I don't like about Mando is the damn episodes are too short, but I understand that. But yeah, I always have fun with The Mandalorian. I've loved that show from the start. And like I said, I don't watch a lot of Star Wars these days because they're hovering around in the same universe that I've spent 40 some odd years watching. And as they slowly get away with that, I'll slowly come back. But I am enjoying Andor, and I did not think I would enjoy that. So time will tell. But yeah, I'm excited for Mando. William, New York Post. Okay. Time out. All right. I can't tell you that I've lost faith in some of the heavier duty trades like the Rolling Stone, the Hollywood Reporter, and the Wrap, and Deadline, and all these for the most part. I mean, I don't think they're completely lying. They give me enough information to make me chase my fucking tail, and I don't appreciate that. And then listen to anything from the New York Post. I would be hypocritical, but yes, I did see that. New York Post had an article that said WB Universal merger goes through, it can interfere with gun. Oh yeah, I have not read this article, so I'm just going on basically what you told me. So I'm not taking them as gospel or anything, because they're literally in the same waste bin as all these other ones. But hypothetically, I'm just going to I'll answer your question. Just hypothetically, yeah, that would definitely that definitely would take that would whatever was going on would not be going on anymore, because and that's why I'm saying when it comes to Gunn, and that's where my apprehension comes in, is you want me to get in the car with you and go on this journey, or I just went on a long ride and all we did is drive in circles for 9 years, and anything good from that meaningless circle I just drove from 2013 to 2022, I had to fight tooth and nail to get. Now, even if your plan is sound, let's just say I agree with everything that's going to go out, I don't know if this guy's going to have the time to get this done, especially with the rollout and how things are started. That really cuts into your time, because you're having to do a mental rebuild. So what I would like to have seen is somebody say, okay, we're going to lock this guy in no matter what. If you buy this company, he's a producer, he's a director of these sets of movies. Otherwise, this could very well happen. I think it's another 2 years before the trade commission will allow such a merger to happen when one just happened like that. I think you have 3 years, so you're dealing with a while. But if that were to ever happen, yeah, they could come in, Universal or Comcast could come in and say, "No, we want our guys in there," and then it's really I don't think it's gonna be over. But if Universal hypothetically were to come in and do that and decide rightfully, like I said, it's their company, their money, I want someone else running DC Films, then that's it. Unless Gunn was under contract, kind of like what's her face is for Sony. As far as Spider-Man goes, I mean, she was fired from the company, but she still maintains that control over those, and then she's the producer of those. Unless there's something in place for Gunn and Safran, yeah, a Universal could come in and they could say, you know what, if we don't like this, we want to go a different direction. We have no, your contract is up, you're done. So yeah, that would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Steve-O makes you think of Jackass and all the bodily harm those knuckleheads did to themselves over the years. I'm gonna wait and see what brings to the table, and then I'll judge it. But so far, yeah, I feel you, Steve-O. I don't think I can say it any better. I think that's what we have to do right now. Like I said, it costs us nothing to wait and see, because if we don't like what's coming out, you don't have to go see it. I would hate for us to have to wait another 5, 6, 7 years to go in a direction out, that is aligned with what I want to see. But you know what? Like I said, I understand movies are expensive, so wait and see. And you never know. I think one of the things that has been put, people haven't really asked themselves, because we're so angry about possibly having 9 years pretty much thrown out. We don't know what the full plan is, and B, a lot of us aren't leaving ourselves open to whether we might not like it or not. You may like it. I mean, I know that sounds insane to say today, given everything that's going on, but I didn't think I'd like Peacemaker. I didn't agree with Peacemaker being made, because I knew what the previous regime was doing. They were getting this and pushing that down people's throat to justify the direction that they had taken with the company. I don't believe Peacemaker's numbers. I don't care. I enjoyed Peacemaker. I don't think Peacemaker's numbers were as good as the outgoing regime wanted to make it seem like, and we'll never know, because we don't have any real source. They haven't put those numbers out there. They didn't. The previous regime who greenlit that never put those numbers out there. They only put like Samba and other bullshit from terrestrial TVs when I didn't watch one episode of Peacemaker on my terrestrial TV. So that doesn't mean anything. The new regime hasn't put out those numbers. So it may have done well, but like I said, I had to get over the fact of how Peacemaker came about to allow myself to enjoy Peacemaker after episode 3. Because to be honest with you, if you're going business dynamics, Peacemaker should have never been made. and neither should the Suicide Squad. If you're going by true business dynamics, most of the slate that came out the last 5 years, Black Adam included, should never have been made. So, but they made it. I gave it a shot and I enjoyed it. And I may find myself in that same position when it comes to what he has to put out now that he's running the show. But yeah, I think that's a good thing to just enjoy it. All right, we're still on the plot. What's the Marvel movie I'm most looking forward to? Well, Across the Spider-Verse. I cannot wait. It is the sequel to my favorite, what I consider to be the best Spider-Man movie, period, hands down, and that's Into the Spider-Verse. I'd have to say Quantumania because I think that is going to let me know whether I need to buy into this next phase with the Kings and all that, and what's going on cosmically. I think that I'm most anticipating Quantumania so that I can kind of get an idea where they're going, how confusing it may or may not be, or whether they've nailed it right out of the door. So I think those two movies, I think one is going to be Across the Spider-Verse, and then 1A will be Quantumania. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Let me pull that up here. I'm not going to read it from here because I don't want to blindside you guys. James Gunn. Okay, so I'll bring it up. I'll take a look at it. Like I said, as long as it's an editorial, him just if he's just giving me his opinion, then I'm open to reading what he has to say. But if he's trying to pull it off at news, I'm gonna get 3 words into it, and I'll start seeing those adjectives and those verbs and verbiages. Cisco WBD would be wide to merge with Universal. At least WBD can license the rights that would allow Universal to carry out and develop DC material rights. It would be a good business move. There's a lot of bad math in there, though. Does Comcast want to? Because if you sell it again, it's gonna be even more devalued company, which means you're probably gonna take on even more debt. If they haven't had the debt, because I don't think you're going to be able to get all rid of that debt in the next 2 years. I think there's a way to do it and bring it down. But there's a lot of different ways that Universal can get content. But I do understand now, yeah, that would be cool for rides and Universal Studios because that would, you're trying to compete with Disneyland. There's good business reasons for it to be a possibility. I don't know if the math and the value and the devaluation that Warner Brothers has gone through in the last 10 years is something that Comcast wants to take up. But if I woke up in a couple of years when that deal is legally allowed to happen and that was a headline, I would not be surprised at all. Wrestling. Yes, I am a wrestling fan. You can kind of, in fact, I'm in my garage area. You can kind of see one of my wrestling belts behind me. Pretty soon, I'm going to be over here, and all my wrestling belts are going to be behind me in the background as far as my set. Yes, I am. You laugh at me all you want, Zeno. I am hardcore wrestling. New Japan, CMLL, NWA. I have Raw right now. On my little DVR, I'm keeping an eye on that. I just usually kind of go through the motions with it. I watch AEW. I think they put out the best matches. I am a wrestling addict. Laugh all you want. Alaska 6531. You got any ancient languages you like to learn about so far? My favorite is Latin. No, I need to learn Spanish, and I have all the programs here to learn Spanish. Spanish is the one language I really, really want to learn, and I really want to become fluent in it. All right. Oh yeah. Spanish, Latin. I mean, it's the language of that region had so much influence throughout. Latin and English language is probably equally as thing. Back when God made no jokes, no one cared. Yeah, no one cared now. I mean, like I said, were the jokes bad? Were they distasteful? Yeah, but if you're not gonna, you're bringing it up for reasons that are disingenuous, in my opinion. That's just me. Integrity, guess what's inevitable? Hey, like I said, it's been a wild week. I wouldn't be surprised one way or another, Integrity, but you keep up that optimism, though. It's not that William Gunn went on some hyper-moralistic route ever since signing with Disney. Suddenly the guy in tirades homophobic jokes or was just lecturing people and they exposed his humor. like I said, dude, I mean, there's a lot of shitheads in Hollywood whose product I enjoy. I mean, there are a lot of absolute pieces of garbage who have done and said worse, and I enjoy their product. I mean, there's a lot of sports athletes that do and say stupid shit, and get themselves involved in the worst situations, but I enjoy their product. I've always said this before: is you can't expect your audience to adopt one person's morals from one person to the next. And that's what Iger and them realized when they fired Gunn. The outrage was there because people didn't care about any of that, And if they didn't care about it then, why am I caring about it now? People are only going to bring it up because of the situation. But it's not good. Listen, you have to read the room, and the room is your audience. If your audience doesn't care, then it's over. All right. Now, unless he was actually convicted of a crime of pedophilia, and that's different. But joking about it, it's up to the audience to decide whether they care or not. But if you're going to make the decision of whether you care about these jokes or not, I mean, all I ask is that you be genuine about it and why are you bringing it up now? Is it being weaponized because you don't like what he's doing? Or if you had that problem that's fine. But like I said, there are plenty of people out there that make content on all different levels that tells worse jokes than that, and they still pack arenas and whatever. So I do wonder what does The Rock think about, especially what's going on with DC. I don't know, because like I said, I hear rumors about how the situation came about. I hear a lot of people that want to blame The Rock. I will never blame The Rock for what he did to bring Cavill back. I will never blame The Rock for how things turned out. I will blame the people who made it necessary for him to go through that to bring Cavill out, because I will blame the people who should have never had Cavill on the shelf for 5 years. Blame them. Before you even utter The Rock's name in any blame game, you need to shred the people who made Henry Cavill and Superman disappear for half a decade. Blame them. All right, blame the people who put out a bunch of 5 years of movies with C and D characters in, and expecting everybody to engage them in the same way that they would engage the alpha characters, and then blaming those people when they didn't support them. Blame those guys. Blame that management. Before Dwayne Johnson's name even gets on your tongue to blame, you got about 20 or 30 people that are on that list, and even if his name ever comes up. So I don't know what the conversation would be. I would hope it would be professional, but to be honest with you, given how things have rolled out, I wouldn't be surprised if there's been no conversation at all. William, you have to separate people like us who want to make dirty jokes and a hyper morale machine that is Disney and Gunn became. But yeah, I understand I get what you're saying, Forth. But even Disney made the choice to continue working with him. Those jokes didn't disappear when they fired him. Those jokes were still there when they rehired him back. So obviously they've drawn the line. I mean, his hypocrisy, I'm not paying for his hypocrisy or lack of hypocrisy. I'm not going to a retreat to hear him, give me life coaching information. I'm going to see him make comic book movies. And if he does those well and doesn't commit any crimes, then that's where I'm going to judge him from, because that's where my relationship with any of these guys ends and begins. My relationship with James Gunn ends at that screen, whether it be HBO Max or the big screen. My relationship with that quarterback ends on that screen or that field or when I throw my ticket stub away from going to the game. All right, they owe me. We owe each other no explanations about how we live, as long as we're not committing crimes or getting incarcerated. Deshaun Watson, it's a border, everybody. Daniel Martin, Twitter beefs are trash talking is irrelevant. I mean, Twitter is not real life. If it was, every day in the sky would be falling. Hell, dude, look at the guy who owns Twitter. That guy's melting down every damn day. So yeah, Twitter is not the lens that we should be looking through life, dude. Brian Metro, he hasn't handled the food yet. Yeah, well, like I said, he could do better than Burger King with their little hockey puck hamburger that I ate there. All right, okay, so all right, you guys are. It really does, because some of the shit I saw online aimed at other people and James Gunn and his wife, would you say that if that person was standing in front of you? Now, some of you are some big people, and maybe you're prone to violence, but for the most part, would you be saying some of this shit to the people that you guys type out on Twitter if they were in the same room? And see, that's the way I want to do it. I'm not going to say anything on this screen. I don't care how many thousands of miles away that I wouldn't say to you if you were in my store, because I should be respecting the conversation as highly as I do if you are 2 feet away from me or 2,000 miles away from me. That discipline should be the same. And I don't think that's what was lacking today or yesterday. Cisco integrity looks like WD. Okay. Like I said, right now, those are rumors and speculations, and those are not my favorite sources of information. I'd like to see the Bible maybe reconcile with some of the things he said. Yeah, and like I said, one thing about all of this is it's still forming. We don't know everything. We haven't seen the Bible. The Bible, from what I know, is still being written as far as Saffron and game goes. All right, so what's good? Integrity. What is my opinion about about Henry Cavill making and starring in a Warhammer 40K show made by Amazon? That's good. I think that's a good move from him. I think that's actually why he left The Witcher. I don't think he left The Witcher for Superman. I think he left The Witcher because this was in the works. I think it's great. He has a good mind for that genre. I hope he gets somebody on board who's actually a screenwriter and director. I would like to see him advise. I don't want to see him necessarily be. I don't know. I've never seen him. He's an actor. I've never seen him run a show, but I hope he gets somebody in there to co-pilot with him that does. But anytime you can get on Amazon, you do it, and it's because your shit's not going to be under budgeted. Tears came into my eyes when I found out that the next installment of anything we're getting from Blade Runner is going to be on Amazon, because I know it's not going to be some cheap Crayola low budget shit. So I'm happy for him there. I think it's cool. All right, Brian Master of None. I think people need to chill and stop jumping the gun. Yeah, I know you meant that as a pun, but yeah, I mean, really, we're literally running into walls and we don't even know why. All right, we're ready to jump off a cliff and we haven't really been given a reason to yet. I'm not saying jump off the cliff anyway, but we haven't. All this anxiety that's been coming up, like I said, it could be headed in the direction I don't agree with as far as the path to get there, but I don't even know all that yet. I've heard people throw around reboot, because like I said, it doesn't take brain cells to say the word and roll out the word reboot. All right, brain cells takes figuring out what the consequences are going to be of that reboot, and we haven't even seen what reboot even means to James Gunn. For fanboys, reboot means one thing. For James Gunn, looking at everything he has at his disposal, may mean something else. So my advice to everybody else would be to just follow Brian's advice, but dial it back a little bit and wait till actual information comes out. Do not predispose yourself to hate something that's not here yet. All right, that's the same shit that the fucking fanboys did in 2013, 14, 15, 16, and 17. They just reared their heads, and they were just at the ready to hate something that wasn't even past its concept phase. And that's what, ruined things. That's why we're here. Bad management and idiot fanboys from that time period really fucked things up. Let's not be those guys again. We've seen what they've done. We are living in the wake of what they've done. Let's not create that wake for the next people. Let's wait and if it comes out and it sucks, I'll say it sucked. But it's not even here yet. And we're already got our pants down, ready to shit on it. Take a time out, All right, let's see. Gunn isn't going anywhere unless the vision fails. Silly to expect otherwise. I think him fighting on Twitter is dumb. Once again, too, like I said, his vision failing is subjective to whoever is running the show. A merger could change that, but not just Zaslav. People think Batman versus Superman failed. It didn't fail. It failed to meet stupid-ass expectations that management had put forth, but that wasn't the failure. So failure is in the eye of the beholder. And in this case, it's stockholders and people who are the ones that, use their cash to buy up the debt that Warner Brothers was in. So James Gunn and Peter Safran and Zaslav's idea of failure and success might be different from the shareholders who make up the financial base of Warner Brothers. So that's all subjective. So he could go after 3 years. We didn't know. We may like the stuff he puts out, but we already have a history of liking some of the stuff that a person puts out and then getting it ripped out from under us. That is a possibility that we have to explore and keep in the back of our heads. I can only imagine when they start announcing the new cast. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not, but there you go. It's the first step. Gunn's DC Bible going to be the King James version, New International Version, Orthodox American Standard. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Book of Revelations. There. That's how much I know about religion. I'm not too good at it. All right. Yeah, I don't. Not impossible. I don't know how probable though. So, but I don't have any inside information. Yeah, like I said, you could dig through. I could probably find anybody who I watch. I could probably dig through their history and there'd be some stuff in there. But like I said, look at the date. If I pull some information from 2012 and here I am 10 years later, you know what? People change in a decade. So, all right, my only issue with these reboots is the timing. They basically ensured the next few movies will be lame. Yeah, the next 4 movies, and that's a really, not only when you do a reboot, you're adding on that you're it's going to take 3 to 4 years for people to embrace whatever new thing you put out there, right? Because they got that death grip on Cavill, they got that death grip on Christopher Reeve, they got that death grip on Nolan's Batman, they got that stranglehold on Ben Affleck's Batman, and right now with especially an intergeneration one. They're going to hold on to it. So they're not going to immediately let go of that death grip just because you put something new in front of them. Those numbers may suffer. The next 3 to 4 years of these new incarnations may suffer for this very reason. But so they have that, but they're adding on some lame duckness to it because the movies that are in between there are movies that really, as far as I know, have no reason, for anybody to pay for, to be honest with you. And I heard somebody make the analogy, well, that's stupid. What if you go to see movies because they're good movies? There goes that good movie bullshit. And what if people approach The Godfather that way? Not even remotely close as far as analogies. Nobody going to see The Godfather because it didn't connect to a universe. The Godfather in 1972 was never put forth as something that was connected to a universe. Even if Mario Puzo and Paramount had plans for sequels, depending on what that one did, the general public was not in their zeitgeist. So they didn't know about a sequel. They didn't know anything. It was presented as a standalone movie. These movies that you're rolling out are not presented as standalone movies. These movies exist in a continuous universe. And if you're telling people that those movies are not continuing, then you've taken away the spine of all that anticipation. I mean, great. I'm going to go see Shazam 2 when I know I'm not going to see anymore. I'm going to go see Aquaman 2 when I know I'm not going to get my trilogy. I'm going to go see Blue Beetle when who the fuck knows is going to happen with that character. So there's too much uncertainty, and you have 4 movies that you're going to have to put out there. And be honest with you, why not put those on HBO? I mean, Matt, you're going to write things off. I mean, somebody brought up a good point. You're possibly telling somebody that this is a dead end, but go see these movies on your way to your dead end. That's a tough one. And like I said, right now, unless something drastically changes, it's going to be an HBO Max thing for me. I could change my mind, but right now, I can't. I just don't feel it, And yeah, that just didn't seem smart that they would do that. That's why I didn't think that they were going to do a reboot, because of it would be stupid to just basically throw away 4 movies. But alas, they did it. All right, Jappy, after Justice League bomb exec Tommy Emmerich and Kevin Tishara should have been fired, and it's crazy how long it took. Yeah, it is. That's poor management on top of poor management. And just, yeah, there's so many reasons why those guys should have been fired, but, that was one of them. It could be. It could be. I mean, I can't tell the future, but right now we're off to a shaky start, but I've seen things off to shakier starts. So I wish they would have done this better. I wish they would have handled this better. I wish they would have started by creating a resolution and building a bridge from what is old into what is new. And by doing that, you would be building a bridge to what is new to what is old, because those brand new people you bring in, if they like these movies and you have done a credible credible transition between all of this. You are leading those new people into your old catalog, and you're leading those old people into your new stuff, and you're bringing the fandom as close to possible you get. But by just cutting things like this, it just leaves everybody dangling. But like I said, this is based on what I know as of December 20th, 1:03 a.m. All right, that is he could come out and change the game tomorrow. All right, he could come out and put out 4 or 5 tweets that changes everything that we know. And I, at the very least, give him an opportunity to put out as much information as he can before we start on this. That's all I'm asking on that one. Yeah, I agree. All right. £1. So that why they Cavill was Cavill only had certain things left on his contract anyway, so he would, unless he re-upped, he wasn't going to be around. But like I said, we were led to believe that he was going to be around. Emmanuel P, why did Gunn say anything about the Snyder fandom at all? DC bosses need to stay off of Twitter listening to what fans say. They've been doing it since 2013 in Snyder, and they're still doing it now. All right, so when I read his tweet, I didn't see him. This Snyder fan, personally, I can only speak for myself, as him engaging me. There are people out there that are pieces of shit, and they demonstrated that today with some of the insults and everything else that they made towards him and his wife. And some of those guys, unfortunately, align themselves with the type of movies that I like. I thought he did a decent enough job in letting you know that it was the minority, no matter who they were and whether they were Snyder fans or not. They are the minority, and he knew what he was getting into, and he knows that there's going to be some people out there telling people to commit suicide, over capes and masks. You know what? He understood that, and I felt that he was talking. He was drawing a line between the extremists and everyone else, and he knows that even the extremists, they're not extremists, or the moderates like myself, are very skeptical right now. So once again, it's I think the bigger mistake, Emmanuel, is that every time somebody screams loud and bloody murder and restore the Snyderverse or I'm going to kill you type of deal, they get lumped in with us. I thought he did a good enough job in making sure that there was a line of delineation between us and them. That's the way I read it. But like I said, everybody's different. Diaper wetters, yeah, that's them. Yeah, I mean, both. I love Shazam, and Black Adam was fun. So, continuing about it it's not going to change what happened back in 25-16, but at the same time, that it doesn't change the fact that it happened. It doesn't change the fact that people invested their time and money and mental, just like you and me about Star Trek. When you find a good show you like and you find things that you like, you start investing your money and your emotions into that becoming part of your life. And people have been led on a string for this amount of time and without any resolution. And I think that's where my biggest issue with going forward without a resolution is it's not just the people that are online. There are a lot of people that will never get in front of a computer screen and express this stuff. They will just walk away. All right. The average fan has gone to see these movies with us. They have not dove into the deep end with the social media and the YouTube like we have, but they have seen these movies. And whereas we are angry, they are basically going to have apathy because they know when they've been started on something that it hasn't finished. Every general fan has had a show canceled or a sequel not made. They know when they've been left hanging, and the general audience has just been left hanging for so long that it's gonna be hard to engage. But for these people who are geeks like me, if I'm going to move on from this, what am I moving on to? Am I moving on to just the same thing that happened back in 2015, 16? We can't forget that happened because it could happen again. And then that's even more of your time that's wasted. It's in the past, but what happened from 2013 to now is the basis and the platform that you wish to jump on off to. All right. You can't. I think people think you can dismiss all that and get to the future and just, kind of ignore what happened. And like I said, that's wasting a lot of people's time and emotional energy for something that they never got a payoff for. And I think it's within their power, these new guys, to resolve that. I don't need 20 or 30 Snyder type movies. All I want is a ending to the beginning that Warner Brothers sold to me before I move on to anything else. I'll say it 1,000 times. Why should I trust you with new money when I just lived to what you did with my old money? Fool me once, there you go. What a mess. I'm not going to be part of another 2 to 3 years. Yes, you know. Yeah, I think the key word here is exhaustion. There's so many other things you could be doing that bring you joy and bring it to you a lot faster than this. You have to ask yourself a legitimate question. And it's not one I can answer for you. Given what we've been through, whether it's in the past or not, it is still exhausting. The energy was still spent. Do you want to do this again? And that's something that every single fan is going to have to ask themselves. I don't think that should be a group question. Everybody's going to have to look at the last 9 years and make that commitment, whether they want to go forward with this. And I would not fault you either way, to be honest with you. Fourth, Ashley Gunn, like Jennifer Lawrence, should just get off the internet and go silence echo. He can't, though. He's running a studio, and he's got to be able to control the perception of the studio he's running. You guys realize you're basically James Gunn. No, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that. The shut up and dribble thing is telling athletes that they shouldn't have opinion about social things, and I think that's bullshit. Athletes are tax-paying American citizens. They have a right to say, just like I do, to speak their mind, just like any other American citizen does, and it shouldn't be excluded just because of their job. And with James Gunn, I need him to talk. He's running the show. I need him to control the perception of his franchise so that the Hollywood Reporter, Rolling Stone hit jobs, and New York Post don't control it for him. I need him out there talking. I disagree. I would narrow it down and stop going after petty stuff. But as far as like debunking the big stuff, I think he has to. All right, Chappie. The fact that the old regime of Warner Brothers was butthurt over a couple of critics' reviews and bad Rotten Tomato scores and backlash after the film was even released just shows how stupid they are. Yeah, and they're gone. I agree. Chewie needs to stop. I don't agree. It's not to anybody but to him what to do. Who cares if he engages? Like I said, I need him to engage. I need the face. If he's going to be the guy running shit, I need the face to be in front. I need the horse's mouth to be talking instead of having to get it from the horse's ass in these trades, in these goofy websites, and these bloggers and these Reddit guys. I need to hear it from James Gunn. So no, I absolutely do not want James Gunn to stop engaging. Do I want him engaging with every Twitter head and all that, making basement jokes? No, but it's not always going to be that way. Once these things start rolling out, I truly believe he'll start talking about the content. And that's where it's going to be his most important role. His most important role is not just as a producer, director, or, the CEO. His important role is as a public affairs person. The person that paints he is the Steve Jobs. He is the Feige in that respect. When you see that one guy, you know that what he's about to say is gospel. And everybody else has to shut the fuck up. Everybody else has to stop talking. The horse's mouth has taken the stage and taken the mic. Everybody else, shut the fuck up. I do not want James Gunn to not engage. I want him to engage more, but on a higher level. For me, I would be more selective about how he engages, but him engaging at all, no, I need that. That's what we've been missing the last 5-6 years. That's true too. That's true. And like I said, I disagree with just letting his movie do talking, because once again, if he's putting out movies without him changing the perception of DC first, there's not going to be any anticipation or excitement headed to those movies. Those movies are going to bomb. The perception of DC films comes before the movies, because if you don't have a good perception of what's coming, you're not going to go see it. Look at what we said. The perception of these next 4 movies are that they're lame ducks. We're not going to go see them, or most people will not go see them. The perception is law in some cases. So yeah, he needs to be out there in the forefront. I agree he needs to dial back a little bit, but there are some important tweets that he has engaged that has pretty much shut down some bullshit immediately. And we need that. DC Films needs that. All right. Nah. I would not do this. I would not do this. We had 5 years of a guy running the show that didn't tell us anything, and just put out bullshit and didn't listen to us. When it was going to give us Wonder Twins. So that door needs to be kept. And listen, James Gunn's 56, 57 years old. He'll be able to gauge at some point. That's just my opinion. Yeah, this just was not a good look. Regardless of how you feel about Ray Fisher, whether you support him or not, yesterday just wasn't a good look for him. My opinion. It's because he's saying things you don't want to hear. He was saying things you like. I doubt any of you would be saying to stop. And like I said, he's exactly right. I need him to tell me the things I don't want to hear, because guess what? I need his engagement to let me know whether I'm going to further engage in his project. If he's saying that, you know what, I'm just throwing this out there. He's going to make Superman like the 1980s Superman. And if he gets out there and says, this is the kind of tone I'm making, that is as much part of my decision making as him telling me something I want to hear. I want him telling me, I need the information from him so that I can make my decision on whether I'm going to consume his project, good or bad. No one I've ever followed as far as directors and creators has given me 100%. Ridley Scott's the greatest director in the world, in my opinion. He's given me some shit movies sometimes. Michael Mann has done some. Everybody has a bad day at the office, as far as that goes. But as far as being forthcoming and letting me know, I need to know these things in order to make my assessment of whether I want to spend my hard-earned cash, and so does the general public, good or bad. Don't be afraid to tell me if you're going in the direction that you think I might like. I should be able to respond to you respectfully and say, I don't, as a fan, I don't think that's a proper fit. As a fan, that's not what I would do. I don't know if I'll be engaged. And it's his job at that point, if he wants to further engage, to decide whether he wants to change the trajectory of his product. That communication is the retail consumer relationship I'm always talking about. And your retailer doesn't always tell you. Hell, your retailer at anywhere you're at, whether it's a grocery store or whatever, you know what? We're no longer carrying that version of of Top Ramen or whatever. All right, put in a sign. This is or the cereal. We're not carrying the cereal. It's not profitable for us. I hear that from him. I now have a decision. Do I want to continue to shop here anymore? I may make a decision that even though he's doing that thing I don't like, the vast majority of what he's doing in this grocery store I love. And you know what? I'll just pick a new cereal. So I need to hear it from him, good or bad, but he needs to engage. I disagree with the fact that he needs to just go into a turtle shell and not say anything. Here we go again. I fucked up again. It's an hour and 14 minutes. I'm going to try to get through these. I would tell all these actors to shut up. Some of them take it upon themselves to tell right-wingers, left-wingers not to watch their movie. And did you finance this? Once again, if someone wants to get on that road and say that, it's a free country, and we have the right as consumers to not buy their product if we want to. They can say whatever the hell they want to, but you know what? It's up to the director, the financer, the producer, and the studio. And you know who you're hiring. If you didn't vet some guy before, you knew he was off the edge, and if he says something, a lot of guys have it in their contracts that if they say some things like that, or and it's deemed that they caught, you've cost the studio profits and money, they can be sued. So there are safeguards involved, but I wouldn't taking away their entire free speech would be the right thing, because once again, they are still tax-paying American citizens. Just because they have a job doesn't mean they stop contributing to society. The more Gunn engaged in Twitter drama, the more faith I lose in Gunn's ability to handle. Like I said, the only thing that will cause me to lose faith in his ability to handle responsibility is him not handling the responsibility once it comes. If the movies are shit, I won't go see them. If the scripts look like shit, I won't go see them. If the trailers look like garbage, I won't go see them. That's going to be what determines whether I follow James Gunn along. Could he be doing some things to enhance that for me, like resolving the universe that I spent 9 years on? Yes, but ultimately it's his actual work product that is going to determine whether he's responsible or not. James Gunn is trying to be reasonable with Twitter. That's a mistake right there. Oh, well, Twitter's a cesspool. Sorry, guys. I mean, if you didn't know that now, I think Mr. Musk has brought that to the surface for us. Is Gal in or out? I don't know, dude. I saw that vague article today, and I know the post that he made. I don't know. He was vague enough to where I don't know. And until I haven't seen an announcement from her, I heard Danny Garcia was fired. I didn't hear that announcement from her. I don't know what to believe these days, and that's why I just am gonna toe the line and believe nothing. Chappie, obviously sending death threats to an actor and is just stupid. It's stupid and it's illegal and it's stupid. We are talking about imaginary characters from outer space in some cases. We're talking about people who put on costumes, utility belts. We're talking about people who paint their face. I mean, these are superhero characters. It is not worth taking it to that level, guys. Objectively speak, Brian. Zeno wants Gunn to be like Snyder and say nothing and ignore the fans. Once again, here's the thing about Snyder. I don't think it's Snyder's not running the studio. If Snyder were running the studio, then I would want to hear from him all the time, because his perception of, he's not talking about just his string of movies. We're talking about an entire studio, a potentially multi-billion-dollar endeavor. Zack Snyder just being the director would be a little bit different from Gunn running the whole thing. So Gunn, whereas Zack Snyder doesn't have to, he can do interviews, he can get on talk shows when his movies are out. Gunn has to be out there every day, because every day he's working on something. He should have movies coming out every 4 months, so he should be talking, and he should be engaging with fans. And the fans need to have enough faith to know that this guy is listening. And like I said, you can judge James Gunn on his responses, but I'm going to judge him on the product that he produces first before I do anything. I said, Brian mentioned, Gunn should understand that the rules of engagement, he can't filter a request, only nice comments. But right now, there's not too many coming at him. I think, like I said, he should be more selective and shut down the things that can cause the perception damage. Like when some asshole brings an article from THR, the hack job, and that's all they're going on, and they're spreading, news across Twitter based on that. I think he's obligated to shut that down and get on Twitter and engage in that way. I think he should be selective, but I don't think he should just go away. All right, this is the same fandom that have stepped over a goddamn turkey. Not me. And that turkey shit was ridiculous. Holy shit. For those, everybody in here should know, Zack Snyder he took a picture of a turkey, a dead bird, and just beside it, there was Final Crisis. Could it have meant something? Sure. But the reaction to that shit was bonkers. I know people who muted each other for shit like that. I know people who left chat groups over shit like that. I know people who over a turkey, a Thanksgiving turkey. That's whatever subliminal or underlying message that he had for that doesn't mean shit. The way people handled themselves on that was absolutely absurd. And the fans just got to do better, man. All right. I mean, the fans have got to start carrying themselves with more discipline, more common sense than whether you agree with where something is happening or not. Your tone should be consistent. All right. Your standards should be the same. All right. So, yeah, the turkey thing was absolutely it's kind of funny, but only till you realize that people who call each other friend was like talking to each other the way they were. That was, oh my goodness. All right, objectively speaking, Brian Gunn keeps it up. Eventually, he will slip and say, "Oh, I don't know that." Listen, we don't know. I mean, we don't know this guy other than what he's presented himself publicly. Listen. Someone making decisions you don't agree with doesn't make them a bad person. It just doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of people in this world I don't agree with. not agreeing with James Gunn is doing and how he engages fans doesn't mean that our job as fans is to handle ourselves and not look like fucking idiots. All right. If you don't like what something's doing and you choose to engage with them, that is cool. You as a fan, it is on you not to act like a fucking circus animal. All right. If somebody is addressing you in a respectful tone online or in person, you turn right around and that's what you give back. And whether you like what James Gunn had to type, I don't think he typed it in a tone that warranted how some of the wild animals who call themselves Snyder fans, along with me, responded to them. I don't give a fuck what the topic is. You have a command presence. The way you dictate your words, the tones you use, the words you use, the cadence in your conversation, whether it's online or in person, will dictate how much your words carry, how much power your point has. It will always be dictated on how you present it. And if you present yourself like some of these clowns are presenting themselves on Twitter, I don't even give a fuck what they have to say. All right? If that is your tone and that is your way of handling interaction, I don't want to hear what you have to say. All right? Because you couldn't carry on a sentence or a paragraph like a rational human being. I don't even want to hear what your point is dead on arrival. You may have had a good point. I don't want to hear it. All right? And when you're foaming at the mouth, you think anybody wants to hear what the next word you have to say is? No. But these guys online just don't realize that. They don't realize how they are acting, which would basically shoot holes in it, whatever point they had. Whether they had a good point or not relevant. You want to go Cujo on somebody? Nobody's going to fucking care what you have to say. What's up, Blackhawks? Dude, that was a bunch of channels, man. That wasn't just Matt. That was, oh, dude. Every time somebody brings up that picture, like I said, I want to laugh, but then I go back and look at some of the stuff, the interaction with people over that damn turkey. That turkey probably separated some families. All right. I don't think James Gunn's tweet's going to do any more damage to the DC brand than a reboot or what we've gone through the last 9 years. You could pick your poison in that regard. If all James Gunn is if tweets are my worst worry, then with not going with your top superhero for 5 years, with giving me C and B character feature length movies for the last 5 years, if there's anything that's damaged the brand, those things have done it far faster and far more than James Gunn engaging in a tweet. I mean, all right, don't know if what's said. Yeah, like I said, how much does it? Remember, hey guys, type in the chat. How much does it cost us to wait? $0 and 0 cents. It's costing me nothing right now to sit back in this chair. Might cost me even less if I decide not to go to these movies if they are indeed late duck movies. It's not costing me anything. All right. And I can get distracted real easy. I got Star Trek. I got Picard coming. I got a whole bunch of stuff coming out right now. If DC's not putting out things that are engaging me or worthy for my attention, I got a whole lot of other stuff coming out that is. It's that easy. All right. Here's where I disagree, Daniel. They wanted Kevin Feige model. Gunn needs to follow Kevin Feige's lead on Twitter and social media. No, because James Gunn's product is far less credible and far more damaged and far more stepped on than what Feige walked into. What Feige has now. James Gunn has to address DC for what it is now. He cannot copy Marvel's blueprint in any way, shape, or form. He has to address his patient and not be looking over at someone else's operating table. That is crucial for him. For anything the most important thing besides getting out in front of these things that he will do is to recognize what he is about to jump into. And he's going to need to engage people. Kevin Feige doesn't need to engage people because Marvel hasn't spent the last 14 years fucking people over. DC has. So James Gunn has to get out there and not only make everything okay, but he's got to tell you that it's okay. And then he's got to produce. Oh, yeah. You can buy people out, if things aren't going well, there's so many ways to undo things. All right. You guys are talking to each other. And then again, Gunn keeps engaging like this. He will show us his cards more and more. That's what I want. I want to know what I'm about to make a decision, and I want to know about this journey. I want to see those as many. I don't want you to spoil it for me, but I want to know what hand you're playing. I'm about to. If I say yes to this, I'm about to say yes to something that could be the next 9-10 years of my life. All right, that'll put me close to 60. 48 now. That puts me close to 60. I want to see your cards. I want to see where we're going. I want to see if this is what I want to do, or do I want to, just disengage and watch a DC movie every now and then. I want to pop the hood. I want to see what's under the hood. I want to see the engine. I want to kick the tires. So I don't think it could be a bad thing. I mean, like I said, it's not great now. So nah. Amongst people who are ready for him to be that guy, yeah. I don't agree with the way he's handling things right now, or the way they're handling things right now. And I am not. I don't see anything that says he hates DC fans. Maybe I'm reading something different, but that's just me. I just wanted a bunch of DC content, to be honest. Hey, what we all do. Oh, I was looking at your avatar. That's kind of creepy. Rational. Gunn is just a controller of expectations. Once DCU starts rolling, he'll cool. And that's what I do think he will. I think once the product starts to speak for itself, he will still need to be out in front, because that's just what you do because once you get the perception going, you still have to maintain the perception. I don't think it'll be necessary for him to, because he won't be refuting stupid ass rumors every day. All right. Yeah, I agree with the sentiment. All the others. If I had James Gunn sitting on with me right now, I'd say, dude, I'm all for where we're headed here, where we're possibly headed, but just resolve things. I don't need to restore the Snyderverse. Resolve the Snyderverse. That's what I've always said. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I'm skipping all over. I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to have to start answering some more. Do you think that Justice League was what killed the DCU, or what? Yeah, because Man of Steel did 678, BBS did 871, so you were escalating. You were going in a direction that you could have sustained. But when you put out that movie, a lot of people lost faith in what you were doing. And not only did they put out that movie, they never really properly used the two main characters in that movie again. It was years before you saw Superman again. It was years before you haven't seen Batman since. All right. If you don't include Zack Snyder's Justice League, that was out of theatrical release. So yeah, Justice League was what killed it, is because how they handled it, and that should have never interfered. If they hadn't interfered, we would all be over this. All right, guys, that is going to be it. I'll answer one last question, but then, like I said, I am a half hour over it, and it's like 1:30. Oh, geez. When do you think we'll get news of his plan at the earliest? He will say he'll start next year. However, I feel like it will be I think it'll be February, because he's going to present his plan to Zaslav. And at that point, remember, let us not forget that Zaslav still has to say yes to all this. So we're not in that room yet. So we still got, who knows? All right, since I have Darkness Under the Wind, I've never seen you, so I'm going to answer you and make you the last one. Once Gunn finishes out superhero movies in 2024 and beyond, they need to be good and not flop, because if they do, DC is truly doomed, and the only good thing that they'll have left is bad. Yeah. Yep. All right, on that note, guys, thank you all for being here. I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody's stream, but I only meant to I'll be on for a little bit, just because we hadn't been on for a while. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, everybody, for adding questions, content, and engaging in the conversation. And thank you for doing it in a manner that does not destroy the conversation. What I'm always going to say is, no matter whether you agree with somebody or not, it doesn't matter what the topic is, always be grateful that there is a conversation being had, that you are sitting across a table from somebody that is willing to engage with you, and that there is at least some commonality in a topic that you and that person can sit down. Be open to what that other guy is saying, and allow yourself to evolve. All right. Don't come into any confrontation or conversation with your horns up, ready to close out anything that someone else has said. hell, we would, on any level, that isn't good. All right. Don't let your old grievances dictate what's going forward completely. Yeah, everybody who's concerned about where DC is going right now has a legitimate right to be concerned, but don't let that anxiety in that concern shut out the possibility that maybe this guy puts out a masterpiece of a plan. This is all I got to say. And thank you guys for being here. And I will see you hopefully sooner than later.